Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're kicking off this Thanksgiving week, Nate, with a pretty nice size slate here in the NBA. In this one, we're going to be taking a look at a pretty fun matchup. Nate's Celtics are in Chicago taking on those Bulls. We also have another game video up for you and our player props, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us each and every weekday of this regular season. Also head to thelines.com. That's where we have our great written content for you guys all season long, as well as our odds finder tool that you can go ahead and use to make sure you're getting the best juice on all those bets you make across the NBA. Nate, let's get into this slate tonight and then talk Shy City and the Celtics.
Yeah, nice 8-game slate here. Definitely some intriguing options. And the other game we break down, Hawks plus 2.5 at Cleveland. Like the total there at 226. Also like Trae Young's totals, which we'll get to at player props. Magic are plus 6 at Indiana. The Heat without Jimmy Butler plus 8.5 at Minnesota. Warriors plus 6 at Pelicans after they finally got a road win in Houston, though. Celtics, we're going to look at this game right now. It's minus 6 at Bulls. That total's been bet up, though, Josh, to 229, as they often do with the Celtics. The Knicks are plus 2.5 at Thunder. Totals at 230 there. Blazers without Dame plus 9.5 at the Bucks. Lower total 215. And then the Jazz plus 3 at the Clippers. Yeah, I mean, with the Celtics, they're on a 9-game heater right now. They're scoring a ton. Still, on the road, they have not been hitting these totals that consistently. So seeing it bet up to 229, maybe you want to tease it in the other direction at this point. I like getting the Celtics down to minus 2. And I think I would do that with another game. Probably with the total we talked about in our other game video, Hawks Cavs right now, 226. If that's at 222, I feel supremely confident that you can go over there. I think the Celtics are going to keep winning here. I mean, the Bulls have immediately regressed to what they were last year, which is a team that just cannot beat contenders. A poor defensive team. And I mean, the biggest stat, we could go give you no other stats other than the fact that Chicago is dead last in opponents' 3-point percentage over the last week at 48%. And the Celtics are lighting up the league at an unprecedented rate from 3. They actually struggled in their last meeting with the Bulls, which kicked off this 9-game streak, right? They shot 9 for 31 from deep. And since then, they're shooting 41% from 3. They're hitting 17.5 threes. They have the best offensive rating in NBA history. But that game still went over against the Bulls. I mean, it was in Boston, first of all. So that's been a big discrepancy. Celtics scoring a lot more. 6-1 to the over at home, 3-5-1 to the over on the road. But the Stars were just getting the line at a ridiculous rate. Celtics shot 39 free throws as a team. Tatum shot 20. DeMar DeRozan had 46 points with 22 free throws. Both the third and fourth quarter combined for over 60. So I mean, Marcus Smart's status is definitely something to watch here. It sounds like he's going to come back after missing a couple games. You'd think that hurts their defense. I mean, hurts their offense and helps their defense. But I think Smart has really rounded out his game as a facilitator that could actually spark the Celtics offense a little bit more. Derek White is playing out of his mind right now. I mean, they just have so many creators and scorers. And then you look at Tatum and what he's done against the Bulls recently. Like I said, 20 free throws, 36 points. They have no real good option to guard him. So, I mean, I have no problem if you just want to take the Celtics straight up. But for me, I would rather use the tease and use it with another game that I'm pretty confident about.
Yeah, I don't love the 6. I mean, the thing is like, if you remember, and I'm sure you do, that game, because we picked it and it's your C's, but the game that we talked about on the 4th, what was it, like whenever they lost earlier this season to the Bulls, right? In Chicago, that was the beginning of that 9-game streak you said. That was a game that at the beginning of the game, I think they took like an early 8 to 10 point lead, and we were like, oh, nice, all right. But then it seemed like, okay, maybe no rest was an issue for them that game, and it all just fell apart. They shot, 37% from the field as a team in that game, did the Celtics. So,
and that 100 field goal attempts, which is absurd.
100 field goal attempts, 50 of them, only 50 of them were contested. They had 50 uncontested shots that they missed. So that's just insanely fluky to me. You can't you can't replicate that in its exactness. So short of they shot 37% from three, by the way, in that game as well. They had a better percentage from three slightly than they did from the field. It was a weird ass game, right? And I don't know that you should expect the same sort of weird anomaly. And if you're expecting this to be, go according to script of the way that the Celtics are playing versus the way the Bulls are playing since they last met, especially, right? Like since they met that 10th game ago for the Celtics, the last 9 they've won, they've dominated in incredible fashion on offense. Their defense has been acceptable, right? Like it's been good enough to win with the best offense in the history of the league, that's for sure. And Chicago has been everything not that, right? And you talk about them regressing in the last 9 back to what they were from the standpoint of losing to teams that are good in the East the way they did last year. They also are regressing to the way that they did in terms of the beginning of the season when it was like maybe they're good. Their defensive rating is in the top 15-ish, so it seems sustainable. But that offensive rating right now, especially with the way Zach LaVine is not really come back into form to mix in well, playing all season long now as opposed to being hurt last season, right? He's been playing for the last 9 games. So has DDR, Dosunmu, Vucevic. This is a team that's at full strength, but it just might not be as good as we thought it was, right? 24th in offensive rating over their last 10. 15th in defensive rating is fine, but they're not getting any turnovers. They're turning the ball over in the way of the bottom 10 there. Their assists, their bottom 5. They're shooting, unsurprisingly, we talk about most from they're shooting, all their shots from mid-range. They're shooting the third most field goal attempts from 2. They're not even attempting threes. They are getting to the line, as we talk about, 7th most free throw attempts in the league. But Boston is 6th in terms of limiting their opponent's free throw attempts, playing pretty good defense and a little bit of Olay defense around the rim, knowing that it's not necessarily worth it to foul guys that are driving when they don't have a rim protector. Sometimes you got to give up some easier ones. And obviously for them, like I would be getting up into people and taking away those 2-pointers, not worrying about the 3-pointers, but everything from like 17 feet in is just going to be just hounded by the Celtics. It's all that they have to do in this game. Just reverting back to the point about the Bulls playing down once they start playing good comp, especially in the East. They're 1-4 against the spread this season as home dogs, losing those games by an average of 9 points a game, failing to cover by about 7 points a game when they are dogs in that situation. So there's not much for me to like about Chicago right now. I definitely was happy to pick under their win total this season. At the beginning of the season, I think they're starting to play into that form that we expect. And Boston, man, I mean, they're definitely a 6-point spread in this one, in my opinion. I don't really want to touch the total just because also Chicago's gotten a bit better against the 3-pointer. I know the last 3 games has been awful, but overall in their last 10, they did take a little bit of a step forward before those last 3. So it's not like it's totally just the way that I think that they're going to play this season is just giving up threes to that extent. But I still feel good about Boston doing everything that they want to do, whether it's in transition or in the half court at this point. Like 6 points to me is not enough for a Boston team that is on another tier than if it's like them and Milwaukee at full strength, but even Milwaukee not at full strength, I still think Boston's just a tick ahead of them and definitely a solid 6 points ahead of the Bulls on the road.
Yeah, I mean, forget good teams. The Bulls haven't beaten anybody in their last 4 or 6 of their last 7. They beat shorthanded Toronto. That's their only win in that span. And if you look at on the course over the season right now, 3-8. Versus any team with a winning record or at 500. In their last 4, they've just been putrid, really the last 5 from beyond the arc, shooting about 26% from 3. And that was the issue for them last year when Zach LaVine got a little dinged up and then they had no one to threaten you with from beyond the arc. Like DeMar DeRozan is a great player and he's probably going to get his, but you can't match 2s with 3s in the NBA, right? I mean, especially when you're giving up the highest percentage on the other end. They just got waxed by Denver, spreading the ball around. Jokic getting 14 dimes in that game to find open shooters. The Celtics are playing incredible team ball, like I said, with Marcus Smart keying the action. I think their assist rate should be even higher. Yeah. In this one, they have the number 1 assist to turnover ratio in their last 10. Yeah, I mean, their offense is just incredible right now. I mean, second to Sacramento, and I'm excited to see their next 2 games here. Just FYI, like at home against Luka on the night before Thanksgiving, and then at home against that second offense in the Kings on Friday. So start looking ahead for those lines, see where you can get those.
No doubt if that Sacramento line comes out anywhere below 235, hit it immediately, and then act accordingly, in my opinion. But that'll be super fun. And yeah, and this one, just to finish the point about, the Bulls allowing a ton of assists as well. Not good against this team with 2-point guards now, right? Maybe 3 if you consider Derek White occasionally playing some nice ball control. So a team that has struggled to assist each other as of the previous couple seasons, and that was a big thing. Joe Mazzulla, former point guard, is definitely handling those duties as coach right now. 3rd most assists for the Celtics. So yeah, you gotta love this matchup for them, and you gotta also love, like you said, 3 is worth more than 2, dude. And if you were gonna build a team around DeMar again, I think you would want a lot more 3-point shooting. Maybe that's what they were hoping they were getting from Kobe White. Not the case this season. So they're gonna continue to struggle on offense as they have. That is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us each and every weekday of this regular season. Until we see you next, happy betting.